Okay, so yesterday we talked about the introductory paragraph. So, my question to you is when you started trying to write your introductory paragraph on your own, one of the thumbs up, thumbs down things will be fine. How many people were able to navigate through it without feeling confused or frustrated? Okay, I see Zarek has got a thumbs down. How many of y'all were able to navigate through it without feeling confused or frustrated? All right, looking for a little bit of honesty here because it matters in what direction we go right now, okay? How many of y'all were how many of you just were not able to complete it? Let's put it that way. How many of y'all have not completed the introductory paragraph yet? All right, guys, come on now. Give me a little bit more feedback. I've only got 3 people answering me. Okay, then bear with me just a second. And let me make sure that we are all on the same page. Um, can y'all, let's see, share. All right, let me get into y'all's class. And I guess I need to make sure that we are, you finished but was struggling. Zerika, while I'm trying to look up something, it's going to be a second before I answer you, okay? Um, what, do you mind me asking, what was the biggest part that you were struggling with? I have not done it yet. I won't try to do it right now. All right, Zerika, what were you struggling with? I'm sorry. Honestly, I am. That is one of the downsides of sometimes doing something new. Um, were you happy with what you had by the time you finished with it? Then that's a positive. Do you think that this introduction, comparative to the introductions that you've done before, do you think it is as good? Do you think it's better, or do you think it's about the same? Good. That the human side of me, I'm like anybody else in this world. But what I do, I want to be the best at it, if that makes sense. So if I have a student tells me that what I'm showing them, and especially if it's something new, that they think it's working out better for them than what they've done in the past, well, naturally I'm happy. Does that make sense? Okay. Here's the question that I've got for you. And I'm going to quit sharing my screen here for a second because I'll explain that in just a second. Um, who has who has completed their pre-writing? Give me a yep if you have completed your pre-writing. All right, let me ask this. Ryan, can you hear me? Ryan, can you hear me, or are you still playing video games? Brianne, can you hear me? Okay. Brianne, have you completed your pre-writing up to this point? Good deal. Have you been able to write your 3 body paragraphs? Okay, I'm sorry. You did type in yes, sir. Um, were you able to write your introductory paragraph? Christo, can you hear me? Brianne, if maybe you're still typing, asking about the. All right, Chris, I'll get to you in just a second. Brianne, asking about if you're able to do your introductory. Give me a yep or a nope if you don't mind. Christo, have you been able to complete your pre-writing? All right, Brianne, I'll come back to you in just a second, okay? Christo, you said you have done your pre-writing. All right, have you done your 3 body paragraphs? Okay, so that's where you're at. That's what you need to be working on because it's kind of like rungs of a ladder. You got to do step 1 before you can do step 2 before you can do step 3. At least that's the way I want it done. Okay, so work on your body paragraphs. Derek, can you hear me? Derek, can you hear me? All right, Gage, you're one of the kids that usually joins in the conversation. So do you mind me asking just what's the last thing that you completed? Pre-writing, body, or um, introductory? Okay, so you still got to work on the intro. Okay, so that's where you're at. Gage, did what I did yesterday, did it make sense? Just a yes or no? Good, then I'm gonna leave you to do it, okay? Gemma, can you hear me? Gemma, if you don't mind me asking, where have you left off at? What was the last thing that you were able to write? Was it pre-writing? Was it 3 body paragraphs, or was it introduction? And guys, y'all can answer privately if you want to. I apologize. I'm really not trying to embarrass anybody. I'm trying to figure out where we're at as a class. Okay. Jordan, can you hear me? Well, I'm running people off left and right by asking them questions, I guess. Um, Jordan, can you hear me? Lynette, can you hear me? All right, Lynette, same question. Where have you left off? What was the last thing you were able to do? By the way, guys, I'm going to be asking everybody, if you don't mind, go ahead and tell me where you kind of left off. All right, Lynette, then do you know what you got next, Lynette? Let me just ask it like that without, because I said I wasn't going to try to embarrass anybody. Do you know what you got next? All right, the next thing for you to do is the 3 body paragraphs. You turn the pre-writing into the body paragraphs. Thank you, Rebecca. McKinley, can you hear me? McKinley, can you hear me? Michael, can you hear me? Michael, can you hear me? Samira, can you hear me? Tyler, can you hear me? Okay, same question, Tyler. What's the last thing that you finished? On the body? Gotcha. Okay, so you know the next thing that you've got to do, correct? All right. Are you comfortable with it? Good deal. Then I'll let you work on it, okay? Victoria, can you hear me? All right. Same question. What was the last thing that you were able to finish? Gotcha. I will say this, Victoria, editing is very important, but don't get so caught up on it right now until we get all of it written, okay? Make sure you're working on the intro next, okay? And Zerica, I already know about you. Samira, can you hear me now? Samira, can you hear me now? Okay. What was the last thing you were able to complete on your writing so far? I will go back and check that because that kind of look. Here's the deal. Um, I could go ahead and move on with the conclusion today, but here's a couple of reasons that I think that I'm going to hold off. Right now, I've got 2 students in here in this class that basically are to the point that they're ready for the conclusion. Okay. Um, okay, Zerka, I got you. Um, Here's what I need to do. And I thought I'd actually already done this. I apologize that somehow it slipped my mind. Is right now I need to go in and I'm going to put the assignments in. That way you can go ahead and start putting your 3 body paragraph rough draft, your thesis statements, your basically everything that we've done up to this point, and even what's upcoming. I need to go ahead and put it in for you to start getting credit for it because all of these things are daily grades. The finished copy will be a major grade. Okay. What I think I'm going to do, because a lot of times I get long-winded in the virtual class, and I don't quite give y'all the writing time that the other classes have gotten in face-to-face. So what I think I'm going to do is designate the next 30 minutes basically for you to have time to actually do your writing. Give me a yep if that's a good thing for you. then that's what I'm going to do. Monday, we will go over how I want the conclusion done. Tentatively, Tuesday will be a proofreading and editing day, and I'll go over some tricks about doing that. And by middle of next week, I think I'm going to kind of make this do, if that makes sense. Okay. But for the time being, give me 3-4 minutes and I'll come back on here and I'll tell you to, and I'll share and I'll show what I've done. I'm going to do that real quick to get the assignments inside of Schoology. While I'm doing that, I want you to work on the actual writing itself. Okay. So I'm going to mute myself. I'm actually going to quit pushing record for the time being because it's just going to be silence for a few minutes, and then we'll go from there. Okay. All right. Get busy. All right. If you're still listening to my voice, give me a yep. Okay. Look at my screen here for a second. I want to share something with you. I want to make sure that it makes sense, and that you know exactly what's there and what's coming. Okay. All right, y'all know I got to deal with my chat and moving it around and everything else. All right. Can everybody see my screen right now? Okay. When you go into Schoology now and you go into fourth quarter, above week 1, week 2, and week 3 is a red folder, minor grades associated with the argumentative essay. Later on, I'll decide on how on where I'm going to put the major assessment. I promise it will be simple. I wrote a little note here, and I need to make sure that y'all understand this. So I'm going to read it with you. For ease and convenience, I am placing all assignments assessments associated with the argumentative essay in this folder. All have a due date of May the 14th, 2021. Because writing takes longer to grade, no writing assignment assessment will be accepted past this date. Please understand. Let me kind of talk about that here for a second, okay? I know up through the first 3 quarters that y'all have had, everything's been open pretty much to the last day of the quarter. I can't do that for the writing. I've got 170 kids that I'm going to be grading a 5-paragraph essay and all of this stuff with, right? The last week of school is very, very busy for teachers as well as students. Okay. I'm going to have a lot going on just like everybody else. Now, we're actually going to finish this next week. We're going to finish this in April, but I'm leaving it open to the 14th for those people who just work a little bit behind to give you extra time. But I'm cutting it off on the 14th because what I'm not going to be doing is the last week of school, the last day of school, have 50 turned in and have to try to grade them in that last day. Give me a yep if that makes sense. Now, I hope that sounds fair to you, but even if it's not fair, guys, I've got to stand firm on that, okay? You can turn them in earlier as you complete them. In other words, looking in here real quick, the essay topic, the thesis statement, and the pre-writing, guys, that's already been in individual days. Most of y'all have already completed most of these. But I went ahead and moved it in here. That way, if somebody hasn't completed it, it'll all be in like a one-stop shop type, so to speak. Okay. The body rough drafts, the introduction, the conclusion. Here's when you write it. If you write it on paper, that means you've got to type it in here. If you type it on your computer, like a Microsoft Word, that just simply means copy and paste and put it in there. Now, if you open it up, you see that all it is just a blank form for you to edit, just like you would any other assignment. Copy and paste your first paragraph in here, copy and paste your second paragraph in here, and your third paragraph in here. It's not very fancy, but it does give me a way to see your progress. Give me a yep if that makes sense. Now I'm done messed up and got to go all the way back here. Bear with me. Bear with me. Now, I will probably add a couple to this along the way. So just even when you get these 6 in, I want you to check on, basically when you come in every day, this is the first thing I want you to check, if that makes sense. There will still be assignments or still be instructions, still be stuff put in a daily folder like we've been doing all year. This is just all of the things that are going to be graded, because I don't want you to miss one of them. Okay? Does this seem like a good way to do it? Does this seem like it's making it easier? By the way, if you are a kid that is now virtual, but you are still in one of my face-to-face roles in your class, there's a red folder at the top of your Schoology page as well. I don't think any of those kids are in my live lesson right now, but hopefully they will either see it or watch the recorded lesson and see this. Okay. The more I thought about it, I just thought this is the easiest way to do it. Okay. So that's where I want you to start putting things. If you have everything done up to this point, then start copying and pasting or typing it in there. That way you get credit for it. I can grade it. I can look at it. I can make some suggestions if I need to make some suggestions. I will not, I can honestly promise y'all guys, I will not be reading every word that you type on the rough drafts. I can't grade both the rough draft and the final copy, but I can kind of look over it and see if something's glaring at me. If you have individual questions on any of it, the chat box inside of live lessons or an email would be the easiest thing to do. Okay. All right. So 2:05, let you get back to work. Still got about 10 minutes in class. Okay. I'm gonna just be quiet. If you have questions, let me know.